You're looking at the best there
Austin
is.
316.
What do you guys want to talk about?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
You will rest in peace.
Welcome back, guys, to episode 13 of The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast with Joe
And
Mike. Yeah, let us talk to you. Today, we're going to talk to you about Friday Night SmackDown 3/1/24, AEW Rampage 3/1/24, and AEW Collision 3/2/24. But we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into business here in 3, 2, 1.
now it's time for our SmackDown recap from March 1st, 2024.
Yeah.
You know, this show starts off with a nice recap from Elimination Chamber. They showed on Raw, then they got to show it again for the SmackDown side.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yep. For everyone who didn't see.
We run through all the highlights, and then boom, it's Bloodline.
It's
time.
Bloodline time.
Roman
Yep. We
Reigns
get
is coming out today,
Roman
our
Reigns.
Tribal Chief.
Yeah, man. His theme song hits. Crowd's going nuts already. It's a big episode, and we start on some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, Roman comes out. Crowd's giving him the ones. You know what I mean? Everyone's acknowledging their tribal chief.
He then says, acknowledge me, and the crowd...
It wasn't
gives him-
enough.
It gives him a okay reaction.
I think he did it maybe 2 or 3 times. He goes, you know, it used to be
Three
louder,
times,
he
three
says.
times,
Right?
yes.
3 times.
On the third time, he really gave it a lot of acknowledgement.
Yeah, right. You really had to
And,
acknowledge him
the
at
place
that
was
point.
pretty loud for him, but he actually threatened to leave. He
He
said
did.
he was going to leave, and then Paul Heyman advised him, "You can't leave." The
No,
Rock's about
we
to
have
come out.
Bloodline business. They which then transitions to them introducing The Rock and you know, cue his music. And I don't know if everyone noticed this, but it was a very subtle change in The Rock's entrance. If you look at the Titantron, if you look at that Brahma Bull graphic on his Titantron, his entrance, the eyes are actually now all red for like heel Rock. And they weren't red before, so that's a little subtle change that I picked up on. He comes out with the 500.
I feel like heel Rock needs to come out with the old music.
Yeah, do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
Yeah, that's
that
a little,
one.
Yeah.
That was the
yeah,
heel
you're right.
Rock theme. You know, you can't have the if you smell anymore because, you know, it's just not going to
Too
work.
crowd pleasing,
You
in
know?
my opinion. He's
But
more heel, but they're
he
doing the whole
comes
heels
out
or
with it.
faces things, you know?
Yeah, and he comes out, you know, with the $500 shirt, different version of it. This is the second one now.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was kind of an homage to one that he wore back in the day with the white and all that. He finally gets to the ring. He does his pose. He's still getting popped, unbelievable, you know, for heel Rock. And by the time he gets on the mic, we just have the crowd chanting. You know, Rock's not able to talk yet. It's you know, Rocky sucks or Rocky. You know, it's one or the other. You have a mixed crowd out there for sure.
So if you're ready, The Rock is about to go super nuclear heel.
He's gonna drop some gospel on you.
Yep.
He likes using that right now.
He really does.
He's dropping
He
gospel.
says Glendale, Arizona, and the big pop comes from that one. And then he says, how far out are we from Phoenix? About 10 miles, whatever the case may be.
Right,
How many people are here
wasn't far.
from Phoenix? And you
Right.
get a big pop from
Big
the
pop.
crowd. And he goes and he then reveals the fact that, you know, Phoenix is the largest for meth and cocaine use.
And the crowd popped for that. They liked it. No matter what the case may be, The Rock's calling everybody crackheads and meth heads now. And, you know, they love it. Yeah, man. But then he's going into this rant on how, you know, he's got to address Cody's challenge now. He's going on this rant of how, you know, you don't just go one-on-one with The Rock. If that was the case, everyone would go one-on-one with The Rock. And he then continues and says every woman in the arena wants to go one-on-one with The Rock, with the Great One. So that's out of the question. But what he does propose is something that we kind of predicted a few weeks back. He proposes a tag team match for night 1 of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns and The Rock, the Bloodline,
Yep.
versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins.
And what a tag team match this would be.
Oh, yeah.
What, 4 huge, maybe the biggest tag team match of all time.
The biggest one I can remember. And but it's Bloodline, so there's a little bit of stipulation now. The Rock then continues to lay it out, and he says that if Cody and Seth can somehow beat The Rock and Roman Reigns in this match, then in his championship match with Roman, there will be no bloodline interference. None. Which is what we're hoping for, because we're tired of seeing that. But now let's just say the possibility of Cody and Seth losing to The Rock and Roman Reigns. Now, if that happens, this match turns into a bloodline rules type event where anything goes.
So now you got 2 scenarios to beat up in your head until WrestleMania, because this is going to go right to WrestleMania, the mystery of this.
Of course.
Is Cody Rhodes going to get his title shot with no interference by anybody? Or
bloodline rules.
Is it going to be totally unfair for Cody, and he's going to basically be fighting the whole bloodline and Roman Reigns for the title?
Right. We got to stay tuned to find that out. But another interesting point is that, The Rock is about to hit his catchphrase, the "if you smell," he gets stopped. He gets stopped dead in his tracks, and the crowd's like, oh, wow, you don't do that to The Rock. Roman stops him, and he says he wants the High Chief to acknowledge him. Okay, crowd's booing, everyone's pissed, and The Rock just grabs the microphone and indeed acknowledges his tribal chief. To make matters worse,
when he stops The Rock from saying what he has to say, I was like, what's going to happen?
That's
Where's
huge.
this going to go,
you don't just do that to The Rock. Needless to say, he acknowledged his tribal chief. And now one more interesting point to end this segment here. They all throw the ones up, and what's The Rock doing now? He's throwing up that L again. Why is he doing it? I feel like it's
Paul
for a reason.
Heyman gives him a long look.
He gave him a look. Finally, somebody acknowledges that. He gives him that look, and The Rock's just, if you notice too, The Rock's kind of separated from the rest of the bloodline. They're all kind of hovering around Roman, and The Rock is a little bit off to the side doing that L thing. So, is he playing double agent Hollywood Rock right now? We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Match 1 of the night. It's Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton, and right off the bat, Naomi gets the jobber entrance because the Bloodline segment went so long. It went over, which is what I'm seeing. So she's already in the ring.
Oh, yeah, I think they were saying it was a 40-minute segment.
Yeah, it went long, but honestly, loved the whole thing. It was very needed. So, she gets the jobber entrance. This match is... It's pretty good. Obviously Stratton is really showing off her moves and strength, and with some resistance by Naomi. Needless to say, though, this is almost a squash match for Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton hits that prettiest moonsault ever and knocks Naomi off right off the rip. That's a big win in my opinion for Tiff.
Yeah, I mean. It's interesting to see Naomi taking falls in her return and losing matches. It's not really the best look for coming back.
Nah, definitely not.
Tiff Stratton needs some people to put her over, and I'm glad that Naomi has extended
for sure.
That,
For sure. Second match of the night, we now have Bayley in a returning to the ring Dakota Kai. She's cleared, good to go. Yeah, we'll get to that. It's Bayley and Dakota Kai versus the Kabuki Warriors with Io Sky. And, we did have a match. We had a little bit of a match where both teams were trading exchanges offensively and things were looking good. And Bayley's kind of getting beat down a little bit, and she's looking to Dakota, trying to make that tag. And shockingly enough, Dakota Kai then jumps off the ring apron saying... You're on your own. You're on your own, Bayley. Dakota Kai, it was all BS. She was working with Damage Control the entire time.
And you want to say that you saw it coming because we all saw it coming.
Yeah, but we kind of didn't, too.
We didn't know. That's not true. I feel like we didn't want to see it.
Yeah, I didn't want to see it too.
We wanted it to be
this
'cause
new
it would've been
Damage
the better
Control
storyline. Like this
Right.
storyline sucks. I'm sorry,
Right.
but it sucks.
Right.
Now we have. I mean, it's my opinion. I guess that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Damage Control is getting very old, and I was ready to see it disband. Or
Same here.
Maybe so. In order to revitalize Damage Control, you would need to have heavy opposition for Damage Control. So I was hoping at least we would see Bailey and Dakota Kai and one more matchup in a trios type thing.
And unfortunately, we did not get that.
Maybe even, Bailey winning the women's champion, and then whoever her two lackeys or sidekicks are take the tag team championship, make a statement.
It would have made sense.
Break up Damage Control.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
now it continues.
I mean, the
as
only
of right now,
silver lining of this is that Jade Cargill, which we'll get to in the segment.
Yep, happens right after this.
Was very backing of Bailey, so we might
was.
see her being involved.
That
in
was
somehow.
cool. I'll
so
agree
if they
there.
go that direction, sure, but who would be the third?
Yeah, the match.
Or the fourth.
Yeah, the fourth.
Now you got four members.
Oh my
you
god.
Pair up.
Yeah, right. But to get back to the match ends up as a no contest because of what happened, and Damage Control is backstage, and then they run into Jade Cargill in the backstage area. Nick Aldis appears and tells these people that he's going to deal with Damage Control later on. Aldis wants to now have a conversation with Cargill in his office, maybe more contract talk.
Yeah, but Cargill's standing
signing.
there like sizing them up.
Oh yeah, she was not.
She's sitting there.
She was not happy.
She looks like she's got a major issue with Damage Control.
Yeah, and if that's how she's gonna enter this, so be it.
But later on that night or the next day, she had tweeted or X'd that basically she thinks that they're all babies, they're all kids. They're all,
and
I mean, she called them.
Put anybody next to Jade Cargill, and you're gonna kind of look like a child, But they're not getting her involved for no reason, I think. So it'll be exciting to see where this story goes from here on the road to WrestleMania. Match number 3 next up. It's Bron Breakker versus Zion Quinn from NXT, I believe. He's had some NXT appearances.
Everybody's talking about him. I looked him up online. There's some forums and stuff saying how he was really good in NXT. I must have missed it myself.
I as well did.
And that he's, a really good talent, and they're actually kind of sad to see that they're doing that with him.
Yeah,
but
when he says that,
I didn't know we were still doing jobbers. And
once again, we're getting more jobbers by the week. We're getting jobber squash matches. Bron Breakker, 4 seconds. Mike, is that the time?
I believe it said 4 seconds. Let's say 4 to 6. Because you gotta spear him. And then you got to get 1, 2, 3, which counts in. So 4 seems
4 seconds.
tight.
Yeah, bell rings.
But I think it was like 4 to 6 seconds this match.
Bell rings, massive spear, one of the biggest ones. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Bron Breakker, he's rolling. It's his second official match on SmackDown, and he comes out with that W. He makes it count. After that, we're backstage. We get a Legado del Fantasma vignette real quick before the next match, which is another street fight. We're going with 2 street fights in a week now. Yeah. It's really, Santos Escobar versus Carlito.
Let's just talk about this street fight thing, because I think it's cute.
It's cute.
I think it's cute. But I do, and that's how I feel about it. I think it's cute because AEW is obviously pulling out the Texas death matches,
and not even just that, all
stuff.
Yes,
and then
they got
WWE is like, "What are we gonna do?" And they're like,
let's do a street fight where everyone comes out in blue jeans and we get a table, a chair. It's the occasional thing.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
No,
and, hey, it works, but I feel like it does them more harm than good. Because those fans that you're trying to catch.
We've seen this a million times before.
Aren't gonna want to watch that because it's like softcore porn.
Yes, exactly. If we want hardcore, we're gonna go watch a Texas death match.
Yeah, AEW's got that down. And if there's anything I can rely on them for, it's the blood.
Of course, yeah, Blood and Guts. They even have an annual event, Blood and Guts. But anyway, not to steer off track now. This street match is what it is. But halfway through, we get a surprise. We get a return. It's the greatest luchador of all time. It's Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. He is back, and he's got Carlito's back after saying the LWO is dead, this and that. The Fantasma guys.
He tells Santos Escobar to give him the first shot.
Yeah,
ducks
I
under
need
it,
this.
Comes back, but he doesn't hit him when he comes back. It's actually Carlito that spits in his face.
Yep, and he spits in the face of people who don't want to be cool. That's what it's all about.
Did he spit apple?
It's an apple.
It was
Yep.
like something he spit.
That's the thing he does. He's always had the apple and spits the apple pieces at his opponents, and that happened there. And then Mysterio connects with the 619. We all love to see it. Carlito plants Escobar with the spine buster through the table to pick up the win. So Ray's back. He's helping out Carlito. He gets the win. Old. Ray did look old. I don't know if it's that weird new mask. Is it the mask? I don't know.
The mask I didn't like.
I like the all blackness of it, but it just kind of makes him look a little different.
It's not Rey Mysterio. It's
no.
Like, who is this? Like,
it's like a villain, Rey Mysterio.
Who is this villain? You know, it's almost like, is this foreshadowing? Is he
going
to join up with Escobar?
Yeah, right. We don't know.
I mean? And then who knows where we're going with this? It's a slow moving story.
Yeah,
interested to see what happens.
Absolutely. Then we go backstage. It's Nick Aldis. He's talking to the New Catch Republic, and he and Adam Pearce are having a discussion about the Undisputed Tag Team title match at WrestleMania. He's talking of this conversation with himself and Adam Pearce to New Catch Republic. And Aldis proceeds to run into L.A. Knight backstage, who's hot. He is running around with a receipt for AJ. He's got that chair.
He's got a vendetta.
Oh, yeah. And Aldis lets him know he told AJ Styles to stay home tonight. He's not going to be here. Knight says that he's willing to go to his house. He'll do anything it takes because he ripped away his title shot. Yep. And Knight says there's nothing that Nick Aldis can do about it.
There's a boiling feud right now, and I was really hoping that LA Knight would get his shot at Logan Paul.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're really going heavy on AJ, and they have to be building for WrestleMania.
They have to be.
So let's see how this goes there.
And it's main event time. It's the 5th match of the night. It's Randy Orton versus Austin Theory with Grayson Waller, of course.
Should be a messy one with him at ringside.
Absolutely. And the match was everything I thought it would be. It was good. Theory, although he hasn't had been dealt the best hand lately, he's still a solid wrestler. Him and Randy have a great match. There was a little spot where they were both in the corner, climbing the turnbuckle. Randy was kind of going for a superplex on Austin Theory right here, and it got messed up. And Theory ended up saving Randy from seriously getting injured. You could see Randy too after that. He acknowledged it. He was like, "Good job, kid. We just almost messed this up real bad." Needless to say, that match continued on after that near injury spot. And, Randy's doing all his signature stuff. He's looking good. They're fighting outside, announce table, you name it. It's happening. Randy also grabs Waller and back suplexes him onto the announce table. They get back in the ring, and then we have that glorious, glorious move, the RKO, and that'll put anybody down. Yeah, perfect.
And honestly, Austin Theory sells very well.
His selling, yes, exactly. His selling is on point. You really couldn't do a better job with that RKO. And Owens is out there, fist bumping Randy Orton, and what a surprise! Owens hits the stunner on Theory. And did you see the sell on that stunner?
I did.
Can we talk about that? Because,
that's what I'm saying.
When Theory took the stunner from Austin at Mania a couple years back, it was just like that. It was like he sold that 10 feet in the air and just, did not get up again for the rest of his life. Theory, you got to give it to the kid. He's fucking hot with the selling.
I feel like that's a thing.
There's
a reason why they stay in the ring and do that. I feel like
it's to sell that finishing move, you know?
Yeah,
it's so devastating, especially with Randy when he first came back, hitting that RKO. He hit it on one of the Usos, I think it was Jimmy, and like the show was over and Jimmy's still in the ring selling it. You know, they're rolling the mat up around him and pushing him out of the ring. You know, it's got to be like that. And that's going to end the WWE SmackDown segment part of the show. We are now going to move on to AEW Rampage on 3/1/2024. And let's go. So it's Rampage time. We come on. It's right to the first match of the night. It is Rugido from the CMLL. He's part of the Mexican Tag Team Champions. Rugido versus Claudio Castagnoli of the BCC. And this match was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I have not seen much of Rugido. This dude went in against Claudio, gave it everything he had. In my opinion, they had a 4.5-star match to open up this episode of Rampage, and he made Claudio work for it. You know, he hit the neutralizer to get the win eventually, but he had to work for this win. And after the match, Claudio, out of a sign of respect, he goes up to his opponent and he extends his hand to Rugido for the for the job well done. You know, good job. You really took it to me. And he shakes his hand, and Claudio actually ends up bashing on him more with a little bit of heel work there. And you really thought they were going to have that genuine moment, but it actually went the other way.
Is the BCC a heel faction?
I mean, I feel like they're neutral. Some people
we've
boo
had
them.
This conversation
yeah,
before.
Some people boo them. Some people cheer them. I cheer them. I like the guys. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was a very, very good match between Claudio and Rugido from the CMLL, with Claudio coming out on top. Match number 2 of the night, it's Lance Archer and The Righteous versus Anaya, Luke Langley, and Vaught, I think it was. More jobbers, just what we need, is more jobbers. It's Rampage. I know it's the lesser show, but we have more jobbers here. And this is a match to just showcase The Righteous at this point. Vinny Marseglia is looking good, also known as Vincent. We get this few-minute match where the rookie/jobbers have limited flurries of offense, and then it's the Righteous with sliced bread, and that's it. It's done. Blackout. Finish the match. Your winners are The Righteous and Lance Archer. We now move on to match number 3 of AEW Rampage. It is Riho versus Trish Adora, another one making her Rampage debut, jobber type situation, I guess. I haven't seen much of this girl. Riho, this is a match just for her to shine. I don't see the big deal here with her. She kind of looks like a 13-year-old Asian girl who is not in ring shape. She, looks like she's 96 pounds, soaking wet, wearing boots. Whatever the case may be, they gave her a title run before. She wins this match. I don't get the hype here with her, but we have to talk about her. It happens. After this match, we move backstage with the new couple, I guess you can call them. It's Angelo Parker and Ruby Soho. They're saying they're inviting cameras to their date on this night, and they're getting ready to go. The car shows up, and the cameras are supposed to follow them on this date, and it just doesn't happen. Saraya shows up with her crew and her brother Zach Knight. He ends up laying out Angelo with a blackjack, knocking this guy in the back of the skull with it, knocking him clean out. Ruby's crying, trying to get him to wake up, and I guess it's safe to say their date is ruined. That is the end of that segment. They never got to go on their date again. It's main event time now. It's match number 4 of the night. It is Magnus versus Matt Sydal. And what a good match for even a Rampage show, the lesser-known show. This was a good match. Back and forth. Sydal hit a few meteoras. Magnus is looking good. I haven't seen much of him in the ring myself. I really, really enjoyed this match, and I was kind of pulling for Sydal to hit that shooting star, airborne, whatever you want to call it, from when he was in WWE. I did not want Magnus to win this match, and It ended up happening. It was really surprising to me. The running double knees in the corner. Magnus picks up this main event win against Matt Sydal, and that's going to end this AEW Rampage portion of the show. Stay tuned as we go in transition into AEW Collision 3/2/2024. And right off the rip, we get Buddy Matthews from the House of Black. He's making his entrance. He's coming out. He's supposed to have a match, and that gets thrown right out the window. Here comes Mark Briscoe.
With a head of steam.
Yeah, full head of steam. A little bit of payback.
He's coming for
if you will. He's coming for blood. He's got that redneck kung fu going, and this fight is taking place all over the staging area. Mark Briscoe jumped off the stage. It's onto Buddy, onto the floor. House of Black comes out. And now Mark Briscoe has got this controller in his hand. We're wondering what this is. And I kind of had an idea of what this controller was. He was controlling the pyro. He's trying to burn Buddy Matthews alive.
We don't usually see that a lot.
No, you're not supposed to play with fire, man.
The pyro comes out of like a canister. There's like 6 canisters on the stage.
They were far enough away.
Press the button. The pyro comes out. I'm sure you saw it if you watched the show.
Yeah.
So obviously he puts him on top of the canister and goes to press the button, but it's like
we got to put an end to this.
20 people are on him trying to get the
please
thing
stop.
out of his hand.
Buddy Matthews is going to get burned alive on live TV, and it gets broken up. But Briscoe managed to get the better of Buddy Matthews during all of this, and you wonder what's the House of Black's next move, because Briscoe had that spike that he was originally ripped open with, and he had that at the beginning of the fight, and he didn't get to use it.
Yeah, I was wondering about the spike.
The
spike.
Know
the history on the spike?
Yeah, I can run that down real quick.
Yeah.
Going back a few weeks, Mark Briscoe was in a match, and Julia Hart got involved. It was with House of Black members, and Julia Hart gets involved, and she had the spike. She was the original holder of the spike. She hits Mark Briscoe over the head with it and opens him up wide. Like I talked about it in the show, it looked like Wolverine just took a scrape at Mark Briscoe's head after this thing, and
so
now
he's back for vengeance with the spike.
Exactly. Now, since then, we've seen Mark Briscoe with the spike, and that's how we open up Collision. It's the final go-home show for AEW Revolution, and we're into it. We're here for it. Now we get an actual match, and the winner of this opening match is going to advance to this 8-man all-star match that they are now having at Revolution. Your contestants are Penta El Zero Miedo versus the Bounty Hunter Brian Keith versus Top Flight's own Dante Martin. And this was a pretty incredible match, with so much on the line. It sucks that you can't get more than one winner here, but we saw a lot of big moves back and forth. Dante Martin pulled out a Canadian Destroyer like on the ring apron. That one really made me open my eyes.
That was nice.
There were a few big
really
bumps.
Nice.
Yes, there were a few big bumps on this ring apron. And, they looked backbreaking. One of them, I believe, was a pile driver, too, to Bounty Hunter Brian Keith. And it just did not look good for him. And this was a shocker of a match because Top Flight's own Dante Martin gets the win here via pinfall.
Did not expect it while watching the matchup. I saw this going a bunch of different ways.
Right.
But it's interesting because this winner of this gets to go into this 8-man battle royal. I just want to discuss that this wasn't always the plan, this 8-man battle royal.
No, it was supposed to be like this Meat Madness match that we talked about.
Did we ever get a full explanation of what
I don't even know. I think it was just going to be a bunch of big, meaty dudes. And Tony Khan misbooked it, unfortunately. And now we have this 8-man all-star match, which looks great. But yes, we have Dante Martin getting the win here. He's into the 8-man match. We move on backstage now. We get a promo from Hangman Page. He's screaming that he was, he's not sorry for what he did to Swerve. He's sorry for tricking everybody, but he had to do it. He says he can't live if Swerve has the championship. He's got to win this title. And to intertwine that, we also had a promo from Swerve himself from After Dynamite, just like Hangman's, and he's saying, listen, man, I will never take my eyes off of Hangman Page again. I'm better than this, and shame on myself. He actually
Lesson
said,
learned.
Yeah, he said that he swerved Swerve. you know, and you don't just do that. But
after he hung the hangman.
yeah, he hung the hangman, and now he swerve. So, you know, this is building tension for Revolution's, AEW World Championship
and it's nice
match.
to see Swerve talking more and more on the mic.
Yeah,
and
man,
more
he can
building
do
and
it.
building his
He can do it.
personality, because that's really what's holding him back, in my opinion, from being the most elite in the game. Seeing Swerve get better and better on the mic is awesome to see, because I'm a big fan.
Me too. It's Swerve's house. We all know it. He ends that promo by saying, once again, his goal here is to be the first African American AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and
needs to happen.
We'd all love to see it, but it's Samoa Joe. But we'll get to that. Next up in the lineup on the card, we have Mariah May, who's been impressive, versus another jobber, you guessed it, Angelica Risk. And this match was all Mariah May. She kind of reminds me of Tiffany Stratton. She's just built for this. She's got the moves. She's got everything she needs to get the job done. And the crowd is into her, but she's kind of playing shadow to Toni Storm right now. So that's also interesting. But it was not an issue at all for Mariah to get this done. She barely even broke a sweat. She hits that Mayday for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Your winner of this match is Mariah May. And after this match, we get some celebration from her, which is cut short from Timeless Toni Storm running out to the ring, and it looks urgent. She has something to say. So she's in her slippers, by the way, too. She's in her slippers doing this. She comes out to the ring, and she's like, all right, Deonna Purrazzo, I need to speak to you now. You need to come out here. Doesn't even acknowledge Mariah May. She kind of leaves her hanging. Mariah was kind of looking for some kind of gratification for her big win. Didn't get it.
No, she'll never give that.
No.
And that's the shtick right now.
Exactly. And but she calls out Deonna. Deonna comes out, and Toni Storm is not even using her timeless voice, like her character. She's not using it. She's being straight up Toni Storm right now. She's saying, listen, Deonna, I love you. I always have. But this is different. This is the AEW Women's Championship. Deonna then goes back and says, Toni, I love you too. This ain't about a stupid tattoo or whatever the case may be, but you don't know this side of me. I'm taking that Women's Championship, and obviously Toni Storm didn't like that. They start scuffling. She loses the slippers, and she hits a spike pile driver on Toni Storm, and Toni is just flabbergasted. She's outside of the ring now, and
did she throw a shoe yet? Or no?
I don't know. We did not see the shoe. The shoes actually stayed in the ring after that spike pile driver, and she's getting restrained by Luther now. They're walking her to the back. More build up to this Revolution AEW World Women's Championship match. Next up, we have the Dark Order versus the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. We're all here for it. Noteworthy, during the Scissor Gang's entrance, Max Caster comes out and tries to do his freestyle that he always does, and the rest of the gang does not allow that. They stopped him. So you think there might be some tension there, or we're not sure how this match is going to go now because of some tension within the Bang Bang Scissor Gang on this. It didn't really affect it, to be honest. They had a great match. John Silver and the Dark Order did try. They really put up some pretty outstanding offense, but in the end, it was all set up by the Acclaimed, and Caster scores the pinfall with a big splash on the Dark Order, set up by Anthony Bowens. 1, 2, 3, your winners, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
So hot right now, Daddy Ass.
Yeah, man, Daddy Ass is out there. They're scissoring, they're partying, they're holding up their title belts, and another rolling win for the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. But before we get into the next match, we actually just stopped what we were doing and rewatched this for authenticity. And what did we see, Mike? We saw Max Caster coming out, starting his verse.
Starting the verse, getting into it. And it looks like, a switchblade just comes over, and it looks all good. He puts his arm around him while he's rapping, supporting him. He has the sign on the side, like all three of them.
Yeah.
Him, Caster, and the sign are all hanging out. And I think Caster, in my opinion, from looking at it, it looks like he generally was confused about somebody grabbing him from behind.
Yeah, could have been a fan, or now that we watched it back,
to them, but we just watched it about 5 times.
Yeah, now that we watched it back,
it looks like it was a botch.
It does.
I don't think there's a storyline behind that, but that just might be me.
Yep, that's what happened. At first it looked like they stopped him from doing the verse. When I watched it the first time, I did not play it back until now, and it looks like a genuine botch. Like Max Caster thought somebody from the crowd was grabbing him.
Yeah.
It was just Switchblade Jay White.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
We then pan backstage. It's Chris Statlander and Willow again. They're getting interviewed. They with Stokely Hathaway, and he's saying the word of the day is accountability, and he's sorry. Willow then tells him, quit the talking. They've heard enough. It's not about friendship tomorrow at Revolution. This is about Revolution. And they go on to say that they're going to kick the asses of Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Now we have Tony Schiavone in the ring, and he introduces Wardlow. The second week in a row, we get a Wardlow promo, which we don't usually see a lot of. And it's clear that he's working on his mic skills because he's sounding pretty good. He's coming out and saying,
another guy that if he just got his mic skills going a little bit,
big,
who knows
big
what could happen,
thing. Yeah, for sure. He's coming out, he's stating his claim, saying that he was the one who would come out and destroy everybody, take out all these guys, and he was shooting for the stars, and then it all went downhill, and he's upset about this. The fans turn their back on him. He's saying it's Wardlow's house and all that. He's mentioning Swerve. He's mentioning Hangman, all this good stuff. And during this, we get Chris Jericho out here now. And the Ocho is here, and he's saying to Wardlow that everything that he just said, all about how, he couldn't win the big one, this and that, and he had all his opportunities robbed. He's saying it's not that. Maybe it's just because Wardlow's not good enough. Jericho's talking about the championships that he's won, and he then goes to say this to Wardlow, and I quote, that you ain't won shit. All right, you ain't won nothing. You're not on Jericho's level, is what he's saying.
He's got the 0 and he's got the Ocho.
Yeah, right. So that tells all there. 0 titles, 8 titles. You be the judge. That leads to Wardlow saying, you know what? I don't care how many titles you won. It doesn't matter. This is my time now. Wait till this match happens, and you'll see that Wardlow's going to be the last one standing. Is what he's going at with this. We then pan backstage. Now it's another interview. This time it's with Serena Deeb, and she's saying she's undefeated in AEW right now. She's the veteran. She's the one who's out here being the best professional wrestler, and she's got a lot of pride in that. She's putting out a challenge for anyone backstage who think they can hang the step up to her, which she then calls herself the final boss. Next match of the night, it's a tag team match. It's the Private Party guys versus Matt Sydal and Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels, TNA legend. I thought it was pretty cool to see him, even though, we have seen a better Christopher Daniels in the past. This match was all right. Jeff Jarrett got some distractions in, and Private Party ends up defeating Matt Sydal and the Fallen Angel via pinfall. And after that match, Private Party appeared to align with Jeff Jarrett's little regime. They were all dancing in the ring together. All was well. Next up on this night of AEW Collision, we now have Thunder Rosa, who's been rolling, versus Cassandra Golden. Jobber entrance for Cassandra Golden once again, and they're referring to her as a 5-year vet, but she's getting a jobber entrance, which I don't understand that. This was basically a squash match for Thunder Rosa. Very easy victory, didn't break a sweat. Actually pulls out a brand new submission that we've never seen her use to tap out Cassandra Golden, and it happened quick. After this, Thunder Rosa goes up to the cameraman, and she's like, I know that you guys want to push me aside, but I won't back down. She says to the camera that she's on this undefeated run, and, she's the one. She's coming for that world title that she dearly misses that she used to have. And it's time, guys. It's main event time. It's Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, Daniel Garcia, and Hook versus Roderick Strong, Brian Cage, Killswitch, and Christian Cage, everyone's favorite dad, Christian Cage.
And let me just say, at this stage of his career and life, it's kind of amazing and kind of odd, honestly, as well, that Christian has had a run like he's had with
incredible.
Like, I feel like forever he's been the TNT.
Yeah, he has had that TNT title, even though right
not
now
putting anybody over.
No, even
he's
right now,
with another old man, the Edge.
Yeah,
Adam Copeland. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, AEW. Yeah, he's technically only on like a 9-week reign right now, but that's only because Edge beat him and he won it right back, and he had it forever before that, you know, and obviously Copeland is hurt right now. They can't continue this story. So they have this pretty beefy 8-man battle of a tag team match as a main event. And a battle it was. Everyone got their offense in. Orange Cassidy just looked great. He's on this run that's undeniable. I really hope he retains against Roddy Strong at Revolution. But this match was didn't take long for it to just turn into straight chaos. Unfortunately, we then had some unseen, very, we should have known is where I'm going with it. Outside ring distraction from Nick Wayne. He shows up out of nowhere and kind of ices this match.
Well, you had to figure it was going to happen or something was going to happen. It's not like Christian can get a clean win these days.
No. He needs help big time, and that continues here. Though it was close, this 8-man tag team match is won by Christian Cage and his lackeys, if you will. It's a shame that it happened, but we can't do anything to change it, and that's the end of that match. And somebody's got to restore some order. Yes, nobody did, unfortunately, and we have Christian Cage with more heel heat on his way to Revolution as well. So it all ends pretty chaotically. What other way would you want to end this final collision before AEW Revolution, massive pay-per-view? That's going to end this coverage of AEW Collision. It's also going to end all of our recaps for tonight. We are very, very excited for Revolution this weekend. And before we go, guys, we're going to end the show like we always do with a little bit of Today in Wrestling History.
This day in wrestling history is a few notable wrestling birthdays. Lucky Kid, Dalton Castle, Crazy Steve, Sarah Stock, Devon Storm, and The Spoiler. Not a lot of notable names, but they are.
Couldn't tell you who a single one of them are.
They are
but
noted.
Happy birthday to them.
Also, this day in wrestling history, former WrestleMania headliner King Kong Bundy passed away at the ripe age of 62.
That was a big one. King Kong Bundy was very, very substantial for the early WWF days, especially on his run with Hogan that led to that steel cage match. Very, very memorable, from King Kong Bundy there. And on this day in wrestling history, March 4th, in the year 2000, after a reign that lasted exactly 700 days, Rob Van Dam was forced to vacate the ECW TV Championship. This reign was literally over double the length of the next longest reign in that title's history. And on this day in wrestling history, March 4th, 2013, WWE put on the Old School Raw edition from the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. The event ended up being the final TV appearance for Mae Young before she passed away. And in the main event of this Old School Raw, the best in the world, CM Punk, earned a WrestleMania match with The Undertaker with a victory over Randy Orton, Sheamus, and The Big Show in a fatal 4-way match. And that's going to be the end of this episode of The Source, WWE, AEW All Things Wrestling Podcast. We really appreciate you listening. Please follow the show if you're not already. Please rate the show if you haven't already. It's very important and it's vital to keep the show going. The Source Wrestling Podcast is available on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. We're also on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on everything. Just keep listening. Share this with your friends. Once again, you are listening to The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast with Joe
and
Mike. Yeah. And let us talk to you.
Let us talk to you.
Next time. Yeah.